Hi everybody, I'm Michael Copson, and today we're going to be learning about alternate picking for guitar. Alternate picking is a very useful technique. It is used in a variety of styles from jazz to bluegrass, rock and metal and fusion and pretty much any genre of music. The basics of alternate picking, what essentially they are, is let's just take our E string, our high E string, and instead of using just constant downstrokes, you're going to be using alternate strokes. So instead of just always downstrokes, you'll also be using upstrokes as well. So that's the basics of the technique. It's just, instead of just using a constant one stroke for many of your scale ideas or arpeggio ideas, you're going to be using alternate strokes. Instead of just all down, it'll be down and up. So an easy way to get that going for different scale and chord ideas is if we take, our standard E minor 7 or E minor bar chord just on the 5th string. Show that really fast. Just that chord. If we take the top 3 strings, so on the notes on that, on the G string we have E. On the next string we have G. And on the high E string, we have B. So we have E, G, and B. A simple way to get alternate picking into chords or use of arpeggios is to just arpeggiate that with using alternate picking. So it's a little small example, but it gets you, the feel of what this technique is all about, as opposed to just, running with something just really crazy from the start. So let's just look at my right hand really fast. So, same chord. So what I'm doing is, on the E note, I'm doing a downstroke. The G note, I'm doing a upstroke. The difference of alternate picking. And then, on the E string, I'm with the, B note, I'm using a downstroke. So you have down, up, down, and you can just loop that down, up, and then when you go back down, since your alternate stroke is down, up, down, your G will also be up, down. So it's just this perfect little pattern of down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and you just can constantly loop that. So we can just do that really slow. No metronome right now, just to kind of get the feel of it. You can practice it, just that little chord example, just by yourself. No metronome right now. We'll put that on in a little bit. And it's a perfect little example just to start getting the motion going. It's a little simple thing of just down, and then repeat going up and then down again. And again, essentially what the technique is. It's a very simple concept of once you get it under your fingers, it'll start to take shape. It'll naturally, after a while, like anything, as long as you keep on practicing it, it'll get better. Before we go on, I'd like to also talk about hand movement from it. I see it more from when you're getting at higher speeds, when students are learning this technique and they're doing it at higher speeds. A lot of their motion and movement is coming from their arm. If you can notice for that little example, most of my movement is coming from my wrist. It's coming more from my wrist as opposed to my forearm, which in turn will, over time, in a scenario of playing music, I won't get tired as easily. I'm not going to be just, giving it my all on this guitar. It's not more about how much you're really digging in as opposed to finesse and just, it's a combination of muscle memory and being relaxed. You see some of the fastest guitar players who, play, scales 1,000 miles an hour, and there is little to no movement. And that's exactly why, is they just, there shouldn't be a lot of movement. It's not about that. It's not about how fast you're actually moving. It's the combination of muscle memory and just being comfortable over time and building, because you don't want to just rush into. You never really just want to rush into a playing situation or a speed situation where it's going to be uncomfortable for you and, for you, ultimately. Now, let's get into some scale exercises. This is a scale exercise as opposed to the arpeggio one that we had. So, let's just take a G major scale, 3-note per string. It's just the simple one. It's just on the 6th string, starting on the 6th string, G. And throughout, what you'll be doing is alternate picking, basically what this lesson is about. So let's go back to my right hand, and once you know the scale and you can play it comfortably, let's concentrate more on our alternate picking hand. So what you're going to be doing is, on a 3-note per string basis of a scale, it will be starting on the 6th string. It'll be down, down, up, 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 down, up. And it's just that constantly throughout. So let's just do that scale one more time. And then back down, starting with a downstroke. There you go. That's a little scale idea to start getting you into alternate picking. You can get into smaller ideas for scales and just we could take a little part of that scale and then just use 2 strings on it and just start getting into that. This is a little bit more, you're covering a lot more ground fretboard wise. So let's just take the B and E string of that same scale shape and then just concentrate more on the alternate picking there. So the notes that we would be hitting are E, F sharp, G, A, B, and C of G major scale. So starting from that, it would be down, up, down, up, down, up. And then let's look at my right hand for that little exercise. Okay, and then we can loop it and then go up the scale and then down the scale. So it'll be up, down, up. Oh, sorry. sorry. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So just make a little pattern out of it, or a little loop of it. I was just doing it at a comfortable speed. I didn't put a metronome on right now because it's more about just getting in tune with the technique. I understand it's a very hard technique at first if you want to get into alternate picking. Everybody should be getting into alternate picking. You don't need to blaze up the neck and just really pick fast, but just having a comfortable motion of so your right hand won't get tired after a while. I just did it at a comfortable speed so that you could see my picking hand and then just notice the difference, as opposed to if I did that same scale pattern just all downstrokes. It'll be kind of weird and it'll be kind of funny probably. And it's funny just because for how long I've alternate picked, I had to actually just think about, all right, right hand needs to just constantly downstroke. So with this, it'll just be a lot more flowing motion of just like a constant, wrist movement, not just all arm, because after a while that's just going to get tired and it won't be feasible after a while. But right now, it's in a beginning alternate picking lesson. I wouldn't worry about right now metronome markings. You can always take an idea and then put it to a metronome, I believe. And it's once you just start getting the motion, because it is a really hard thing, because you'll be worrying about staying in time, and then you'll be worrying about this. Just do it at a really constant, slow speed. You can even go a little bit slower with. Just enough so you are consciously getting all those strokes of down, up, down, up, down, up. Just that constant down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. No matter what speed, you'll get that motion. You'll get that constant up, down, or down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up motion. So that's my lesson for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more lessons.